Hello everyone, this is Jake, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys one of the first Destiny gameplay video that's going to be on my channel. And today I'm going to be showing you guys the Nightfall of this week, which is the arms dealer. You're fighting against the Cabal, also you fight against the Fallen in the halfway through. So the beginning of part, there's the Fallen and the Cabals are fighting each other. And they both have Arc Shield as well as Solar Shield. The Void Shield enemies are only started in this room. So once you get out this room, you will never really have enemies with the Void Shield. And usually you encounter this first room with the Void Burn. And I think Nightfall is really challenging now compared to Destiny 1. I'm not saying Destiny 1 Nightfall wasn't challenging. You had to be pretty geared to not feel like it wasn't challenging. You needed certain weapons to be able to pass through each burn, the arc burn that had each week, and as well as all other buffs. So first of all, one of the reasons that Destiny 1 was rather easy with the Nightfall was because it didn't have certain time limits. First of all, certain the missions later in the Destiny 1's life cycle, they had timers and stuff. But overall, the first year, at least when the game originally came out, the Nightfall was, they did a lot of damage, and you were pretty undergeared when the first came out. But it wasn't that hard compared to what we got in the Destiny 2 Thumbstar Nightfall. Because the Nightfall is, like I said, it's really challenging. First of all, I think one of the most challenging thing is this rotating burn modifier we have. So every a minute, I think, the burn cycles, as you can see in the bottom, so void energy surrounds you. That means you do more damage with the void damage. But then again, any other damage that's not void elemental damage, they'll do less damage. So I think this actually means your kinetic weapon, which is basically a primary weapon without any elemental mods on it, actually matters quite a lot. Or you have to be switching weapon constantly in energy slot with the certain modifier, elemental modifier that matches the burn that's rotating to get the maximum output of it. But anyways, I don't want to make this into some kind of guide, but I do want to talk about it because I did play Nightfall quite a lot this week, and I found the best way to deal with this is skip a lot of steps. So as you can see, after you kill certain enemies, you can just skip the entire enemies that we were at in the area before, and then you go ahead and dunk this thing. Then it will start trigger, and now you have to kill all the enemies over here to get to next part. And one thing I would advise you is using a long range weapon. I will never use hand cannon in this areas. I don't know anyone actually uses hand cannon, and kind of really hard to beat in Destiny 2. No one that I know of. Not even I think someone uses exotic. Whatever the exotic one was called, the one with the sidearm and stuff, but whatever. And anyways, I guess I tricked this. So this is the part that you actually have to kill all the enemies. If you killed a lot of enemies beforehand in the room before, and you had your super energy, you could have your super energy up pretty quick in here. But I kind of fucked up here because this poison guy is in the back of me, and he was shooting at me, which I didn't notice. When there's so much things going on and you have a timer and you have to be changing weapons with a certain modifier, it's pretty hard. So I don't know what to say about overall the gear loadout, because I don't myself that doesn't have much exotics yet. So I just ran it with this grenade launcher, which does arc damage, and whenever arc burn came out, I tried to do massive damage with this. And I would say spend your heavy ammo in that section right there, because they have a lot of major enemies with the yellow, orange health bar, whatever you want to call it, and they drop heavy ammo guaranteed. And this part also you can skip. So this is another part that you can skip. So this is the second part you should be skipping. Just skip those enemies. You can kill them, and you can get some timer on. I was telling this guy to come over here. It's don't waste your time with those enemies, because this was our Red King quest. I think it was a second try, and we got it. So it was pretty exciting. But overall, the quest is not easy.
This looks familiar.
I mean, Nightfall itself, just clearing it if you have a certain gear and stuff. I did it on my Titan without trying to do the 5-minute challenge, and it worked out pretty well. But overall, it's pretty hard. But anyway, back to the topic. So this is the part that you should be skipping as well. So you ride your like Sparrow here, and I really messed up. Like I really messed up. And then you ride on your Sparrow right away, and he died here. So we can't save him, can't bother to. So you run all the way over here. So you don't fight any of those enemies. Don't waste your time. Because I mean you can try to kill them fast, but it's too hard because there's 2 dropship that does a attack from the air, and you have to take them out to kill them efficiently, and taking them out takes a lot of time. So I would say unless you have a crazy amount of firepower, you're willing to throw away your heavy ammos on those things, I wouldn't say fight them. And so you have to take these guys out, and they have a lot of snipers in this room, and there's a huge problem in this room is the tank. They have this huge 2 tanks that you know all hate them, and those Cabal tanks do a lot of damage, and also they have a lot of health. So I mean they have a crit spot, but it seems like they don't take that much damage. But if you get lucky with a certain modifier and your weapons have that modifier, the right matching elements, you can be doing some serious damage. But I actually died here because those tracking missiles, they hurt a lot, and the blast radius is pretty big, so I kind of fucked up here, but I try to regain myself. I think he uses his rocket launcher, I think it does pretty good damage. So our team was basically focused on the arc damage. I had an arc heavy, I had a Stormbringer trooper, and one of the other warlock in my party also had a Stormbringer. And so me and him was gonna be main DPS, and our hunter was also actually had this rocket launcher, exotic rocket launcher, the Word Cliff, whatever. Anyway, that does arc damage, and that is really good rocket launcher as well. And this weapon I fail here. So one thing I don't like about this weapon is it's a grenade launcher. It bounces around, which is really annoying. I kind of messed up here as well. I didn't get to kill the fallen knight there. I think I can try to get him here. No, the burn modifier changed, so I was struggling. And man, like once your burn modifier flips and you're using different elements than the burn is currently on, you do hella less damage. And sorry, my tongue twisted. Anyway, you do hella a lot less damage, and it's pretty much not worth your time. You're better off using different weapons. Like if you want to save your ammo, because first of all, you're gonna be pushing a lot of ammos to kill the enemies with a different elemental damage type, so you don't want to be wasting your ammo that much. But anyway, after all the struggle, you get to this part, and this is another second tank here, and you want to bring this thing down as soon as possible. So we launch our heavy ammos, because it was a Void burn, I think. So my teammate also had a Void rocket launcher, the warlock guy. So he was taking some major damage with the Void weapon to the enemies. And here's the arc, and what I do is I try to use my grenade on it to do some damage. But this is also another part that you can kind of use your heavy to clear these guys out in a one shot, because they also drop a lot of heavy ammos in this this little dogs. So that's another point that you should be checking out, because at that point those mobs will give you a lot of ammos back. So that's where you can kind of regain your heavy ammos back. And I would say save your heavy ammos from now on. It's pretty hard to gain heavy ammos from beyond this point. There's a couple like a yellow guys that will drop heavy ammos in the next room we are about to enter. But this is another pretty hard room. You cannot skip this room. You do have to fight quite a lot of them. And we had pretty much 7 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, and we were pretty nervous. Like we thought we weren't gonna get this, but we'll see how it turns out. And anyway, so this is a Void modifier around this time again. Actually, if you are like I find that if you run certain time, then you will see that the modifier in each room is almost like identical. Like each time you run into a room, after many runs I did, they usually have a similar modifier. So after a couple runs, I was able to just kind of predict what rooms will have what kind of modifier, and because the timing became more consistent and more predictable. It wasn't so like up and down, so it was pretty good. And that following like the Saboteur, this is another one that you kind of want to use your heavy ammo on, because this guy will drop it, but only if you can take it down with a few bullets. If you wasted too much bullets on this guy, it's definitely not worth it, and I wouldn't waste your time on it. And these guys also have to take it out pretty fast. Then you have to trigger this elevator here. And one thing I would recommend not doing is on this elevator, if you go to where that my teammate was on, like the right side, right end for me when I was standing, if you are there, as you see the Cabal dropship drop down, I see many people that stand just right there and the Cabal dropship just drops on them and they get killed. And that's really bad timing, and that's wasting crucial time before the boss room. You don't want to die like that. Anyways, this is the boss part, and one tip I want to give you guys is match your archetype. I think that's the best strategy, because the boss, you can take it out as soon as you can start hitting him. So if you have we had the arc burn planned out like this, so we are able to we all had an arc heavy, and we had me and the other warlock, the arc trooper. So what we were able to do is we were able to do heavy amount of damage as soon as the arc burn modifier popped up. So as you see, we go the arc energy goes through, we started demolishing him with it. So I would say that's the best guy for the boss, is match all your archetypes and trying to do as much damage as possible at the beginning, because after, if you miss the beginning phase, it's pretty hard to kill him with a certain amount of time. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have for you guys for this Nightfall. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time with more Destiny 2 videos. Signing out. Bye bye.